as an individual, being uprooted from the Philippines and having this blank slate of how do you want to write your music and evolving as a Filipino in Europe. I went through a lot of changes at that time, which definitely had an influence on how I wrote my songs. Hello, I'm Muri. So my EP album name is called Onziem, which it's written 11 EME, or it means 11th in English. So a little French lesson, onze is 11, and when you add EME, it becomes 11th, which is also the number of my neighborhood in Paris, where I wrote most of these songs, and thus the name of the EP. I think it was two big things. One is when you're in Europe, you have a lot of access to ideas that cross borders because Europe's very fluid. You can move around cities. So artists who come to Europe go to all these cities at once. So there's a lot of influence and easy access to new music. I also think just being there lets me listen to music in Europe more so. So I think there's a lot of new ideas that came about as I was writing this EP. Plus, as an individual, being uprooted from the Philippines and sort of having this blank slate of how do you want to write your music and evolving as a Filipino in Europe. So I went through a lot of changes at that time, which definitely had an influence on how I wrote my songs. Onziem is a concoction of stories, feelings, and a little bit of different languages, which kind of represents my world as a mixed identity person with a background in the Philippines, but then moving to Europe and having this whole world open up and influence me in different ways and makes me reassess my values and my way of life. So I think Onziem is just interesting. It reflects different influences, but also different stories and maybe, for me, different scenarios of my life.